is my name.
Yeah, yeah, ay. Diabolical divas. Diabolical divas. Diabolical divas. We're the ladies with the tea, spilling truth on every mic. Breaking down the games, men play, yeah, we're calling out the hype. Strong, bold, beautiful, we say what's on our minds. Welcome to Diabolical Divas, where the real talk always shines. Oh, Diabolical Divas, say it loud, say it clear, no fear, no filter. Oh, Diabolical Divas, if it's about men and madness, girl, we're right here. Diabolical Divas. Diabolical Divas. Diabolical Divas. Diabolical Divas. Yeah, yeah, ay. Diabolical Divas. Diabolical Divas. Diabolical Divas. We're the ladies with the tea, spilling truth on every mic. Breaking down the games, men play, yeah, we're calling out the hype. Strong, bold, beautiful, we say what's on our minds. Welcome to Diabolical Divas, where the real talk always shines. Oh, Diabolical Divas, say it loud, say it clear, no fear, no filter. Oh, Diabolical Divas, if it's about men and madness, girl, we're right here. Diabolical Divas. Diabolical Divas.
Hey, sorry, y'all caught me jamming. Thank you all for tuning into another great interview here on Paradigm Shift 314 with the Diabolical Divas. As you all know, I am Ivory, born with a scale on me, Ivory Scales. Everything major, nothing big, real heavy. I will turn it over to Sister Light.
Hey everybody, it's your girl Light, the Diabolical Diva, and tonight we have this phenomenal woman on. Her name is Tiffany Starr. She's an entrepreneur and just a beautiful woman all around the board. And I would like to hand the mic over to her so she can introduce herself and tell us a little bit about her business and herself.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Tiffany Williams. Starr is my sobriquet from rapping. People know me when I used to rap. I'll be 50 next Friday, so of course I'm retired from that. I was born in Harlem, New York. I lived in the Bronx for a little while. I went to PS 130. Um, then my mom to Charleston, moved back to Charleston. Um, stayed here for second, third, or fourth grade. Fourth grade summer, I moved to Northwest Washington, D.C., and that's where I spent my formative years of school from fifth grade till the time I graduated from high school. So I feel like Washington, D.C. is my home. Um, after I graduated from high school, I left Washington, D.C. again when I was probably 17. I got shot when I was 17. Um, that story is I was living with a friend because my mom was down in South Carolina where I currently reside. And me and her boyfriend got into it. She was my friend. I was living there before she had this boyfriend. He and I got into it and he shot me. Then I came back down. I came down here. Um, After that, I met my oldest son, Dad. I used to be back in New York and South Jamaica, Queens with him, back and forth. I got arrested April of 1995 for drug trafficking. I was probably 3 months pregnant. Uh, I stayed down. I stayed down here till like I bonded out. So I called myself being on the run, and I went back to New York with my oldest son, Dad. and we had fun. We was in the AZ video. I used to be around AZ all the time, Sugar Hill AZ. Um, and then I came back to face reality October of '95, and that's when I got sentenced. I was 9 months pregnant. I got sentenced to 10 years for drug trafficking. By the grace of God, I only did 6 months because after being after being there a couple of months, I was eligible for this program they call shock probation. It's like a military based program while you're in prison for first time offenders. So after I gave birth to my son, I was in the infirmary for 7 days, and then I went to shock. I completed it and I came home April of '96. Um, of course, started working. Um, I believe sometime that year is when I started rapping, and I've probably been in. I always was a solo artist, but I'm a tomboy by nature. But I would always be around guys in different groups and doing different things. And around that time, that's how I met Marlon.
Oh, okay. So
So
let me ask you a question, sis. So you said you was in AZ's video. Is that around the time they were
no,
doing
I
mob
wasn't.
style?
I wasn't in the video. My son's dad is in the video. I was there.
So
So
is that around the time mob style was a thing?
who is that?
That's the name of AZ in the group mob. That the name was Mob Style. Is that around that time?
When I used to be around AZ, the guy that was the liaison for me to know AZ, his name was Jazz. Um, his government was Troy Jennings. I recently heard that he passed away. But I don't remember AZ. I don't know anything about a mob style thing with
Oh,
AZ.
okay. So let me get this straight, because I might be wrong, right? I might be talking about AZ from Queens.
Yeah, AZ I'm talking about is from Brooklyn. Nas' best friend.
Okay, that's who. Okay, so when you said AZ, I just connected Harlem
No, but that's when I
to
said
Sugar
Sugar
Hill.
Hill. I said Sugar
Right.
Hill, Jay-Z, and Sugar Hill is his breakout song. That
Okay,
so
I
when I
got it.
said Sugar Hill, yeah, that's the video we was at. So my oldest son's dad is in the video. But
Okay. Okay.
yeah. So yeah, I used to be around AZ a lot. Like
Okay. Okay.
I,
So somebody want to say something?
no, go ahead. I can wait till you're done.
Oh no. So I know that I want to say, listen, being sentenced to 10 years and getting out in 6 months is only by the grace of God, right?
correct. Yeah, I
That
had
is only
a praying grandma and ma, and I at that time I had like just enrolled in college down here, so I later learned that like one of my counselors like wrote letters and stuff to the prison. I didn't know none of this stuff until later.
right. I think that's awesome. I think that's like, I know you was like, yeah, I'm out of here, right? Because just thinking, I just had this baby and I'm going to be gone for 10 years. I know that had to weigh heavy on your heart.
Well, I got suspended to 3, so I technically got 10 years suspended to 3. So if I had to do time, it would have probably just been I think 18 months or whatever. But yeah, it was shock value for me because I was in maximum C custody prison. I was in prison with Susan Smith. If y'all don't know who that is, the lady from Conway, South Carolina, who drowned her sons and blamed it on a black man, but it was a lie. So
I
yeah,
remember.
I was in prison with her, and she was treated like a princess in there. I think she's still in there. I'm not sure, but I just prison. It wasn't like you would think it is. It wasn't. They call them cottages. It's on Broad River Road in Columbia. So they have a pregnant cottage for pregnant women. So when I initially went in and got out of receiving, I was on cottage 9. And then after I had my son, I moved to cottage 2. And then after cottage 2, I went to shock. Shock is separate. It's separate from the regular general population. So it's you're not with those people with the general population anymore. However, we still would see them because we have to go in the cafeteria. That's actually where I was working, in the cafeteria, before I got allocated to Shark. So it was you know, who I never thought I would ever be in prison, but it wasn't as bad as you would think it would be. You know what I mean? Like they're like cottages. It seems like you're on little houses with doors. You're not. It's not bars. It's doors. Um, I met some really nice people in there. It's you got to hold your own. I know that. So I never really had a problem because back then I was always with the shits. So
I know that's right. I think Sister Ivy Scale had a question.
okay.
I was gonna ask her, did she mind going into more details about the situation that happened when she was shot at 17?
So to be very candid, so you got to think like I'm living with my friend, right? Her name is Stacy. I'm 17. Stacy is at this time, I want to think she had to be like 26 because she had two kids already. And how I met her, she was a barber on Georgia Avenue where I used to basically hang out. So we became cool because um, she was a barber, and I can't really remember um, how she and I became friends, but just to show you how life worked, right? So there was a point in time prior to me living solely with Stacy that I had, when my mom was still living in DC, that I had called myself running away, and I had stayed with Stacy. So that's how me and her got cool. But then there was a point where I went back. So when my mom, it's a lot going on. So when my mom, I had a fight I went to Dunbar High School. I had a fight with a guy that I had dated, and that fight really changed the trajectory of my life. Because that particular fight that he and I had with him, my mom, I was in my senior year of high school. I had 4 months to graduate. And that fight, because he had a reputation, my principal allegedly told my mom that she thought that he was going to do something drastic to me. So my mom immediately, took me out of school and came down here where I'm at now. But I had to go back. So we talking January 1993. So when that happened, of course, I'm about to graduate in June, right? But she brought me down here, so I had to go to the school down here for like 90 days. The English teacher down here failed me because I was so mad that I had to come down here. I was extremely rebellious, and I just had a terrible attitude. I adjusted, but I just didn't want to be here, and she failed me. Now, mind you, I'm coming from top tier curriculum in comparison to down here. I'm doing real work, like book reports, and I got like an A average in my real, English class. But this lady just decided to fail me based on my attitude, not my work. So I had to end up going back up to DC, and I had to go to summer school. So I didn't graduate with my actual class. I graduated with the summer school class, and I had to stay with not the boy that I had. I had two boyfriends in high school. But I ended up going back to stay with the guy I dated the longest. I ended up staying with his mom to finish summer school. So with that situation, me and his mom got into it. So she kicked me out. So I had to go stay with one of my other friends. So I ended up staying with Cherry. Her name is Marjorie Temple, but her name is Cherry. So I stayed with Cherry. Cherry ended up I stayed with her and her mom for a while in Briggs Cheney, Maryland. Cherry ended up going to the police academy. So her mom was like, "When Cherry leave, you're gonna have to leave." So again, my mom is down here. So now I'm scrambling. So then I go stay with Stacy. So this is how. I ended up with Stacy. So she she met this guy. His name was Vernon. He dead now, so he's dead now. But I guess their relationship began because she used to cut his hair. And long story short, me and him got into it about some money that was missing. He said I took it, and he just came home one day and was like, "Come on, go with me." And I knew he had a gun on him because I seen him put it in his pocket. Now, mind you, this guy Vernon was like, his name was Vernon Boycott. Vernon had to be, and he had just came home prior to him dating Stacy for like 4 years for armed robbery. This is a big dude. He could have really just beat me up, but I guess he just like guns. Briggs Cheney, Maryland is like living in the sticks. So it's a townhouse. He's telling me to come outside. I'm following him at first because I'm scared. But then as I see him walking into the woods, I'm like, why are we going back here? And he's like, come on. So I'm acting like I'm following him, but then I turn around. He shoot past my head, I guess to scare me, but he turns back around. So I act like I'm following him again. And then I just did an about face and ran again, the opposite direction. And that's when he hit me in my leg. So he shot me in my leg. I remember this older white man came to the door and I started screaming, just call 911. Vernon actually comes and pick me up off the ground and asks me, do I want to go with him to the hospital or the police? And at this point I'm deaf scared of him. So he picked me up. He tried to make me walk, like you can walk, you can walk. He tried to pick me up and I'm like, I can't, my leg is heavy at this point. Like it just feels heavy. So I can't walk. He picked me up. He walked me, dragged me up to the house, put me in the basement, and then the police eventually come and, bum rush the basement. So that's how that situation happened. I end up going to the hospital. I think it's like Bellevue or something in Maryland. At this time, I'm still 17. I'm not emancipated. I can't get released from the hospital. So my mom had to come from down here all the way up there just to discharge me from the hospital. So that's how I ended up staying down here for 30 years now at this point.
Okay, okay,
So it's a misunderstanding about money.
okay. I'm sorry you went through that, Lord.
Yeah, I'm okay though. If I never told nobody I don't walk with a limp or nothing. So
Oh,
thank
that's
God for
good.
having a little bit of fat on my thighs.
That
The
was
bullet,
my next question. So,
yeah, the bullet that I learned about hollow points once I got shot.
And peop-
It exploded in my leg. So if you do an X-ray on my leg, like,
mhm.
I think when I walk through metal detectors, it just is, I don't know. You could see it. It's in pieces. So they didn't take it out because it was in pieces. So they couldn't, take it out. So they just let it stay in there. And it didn't hit anything. It didn't hit a main artery or nothing. So, of course, I had to learn how to walk again after, your leg, I mean, I'm not going to say, when you get shot because everybody don't get shot, but it's just very heavy. It feels like a lot of weight. So
Mhm.
it just
so, do you think Stacy was aware of what he was going to do?
yes.
I could believe that. And dude seems to be borderline, right? Because it was no
But he
reason
ended, he
for
has a
him.
problem. He clearly had a problem because after that he shot somebody that I went to junior high school with over an argument over a girl, and I still couldn't fathom how you did that when you with Stacy. So why you arguing with him over another girl? And yeah, so he ended up getting like life in prison, but he ended up dying of cancer long time ago. So that's how I be knowing God don't play by me. Because anytime somebody do something to me, something happened to them. So I know I got favor. I ain't even had to do nothing to him
That's right.
or get nothing done to him.
Okay, so at this point, we had talked about some things in your life, some traumas.
Right.
Um, I want to give you the floor to explore that part of your life, if you're willing to.
I mean, I'm candid about it. I'm not ashamed that anything that happened to me that I didn't do to myself. So Um, I always say, people ask you, well, like what age? I always 5 is like the impressionable age. I don't think I can't speak for nobody else for me, but before 5, I don't really remember too much. I can't tell somebody, oh, this happened to me at 3, 2, 4. 5 is like the age where you're impressionable. You kind of, I was always a precocious kid, so I was very smart. Um, so initially, before my mom used to move around like the feds was watching, and it just irritates me every time I have to talk about why I moved around a lot, you know, with her being in and out, like to make give you a synopsis. I really didn't have any stability living with my mom until I was 8 years old when we she moved me to DC. That's the most stable living quarters I've had with my mom. Prior to 8 years old, we moved around from Harlem to the Bronx, Charleston, South Carolina. DC was like the best years of my life. She would move around a lot. I couldn't tell you why. Um, I learned later, some things of why, and I'd rather not, share, what I've learned about my mom because that's her story about why she
Right.
moved around the way that she did. I can be candid about me. I can be candid about how her decisions, how her irrational decisions affected me. But as far as why she did what she did, what the things that I've learned, I'd rather not, disclose that because, me and my mom have had a tumultuous relationship my entire life. Still to date, I'm an only child. So that's another part that's baffling about why she and I have had a tumultuous relationship. Um, but initially, I don't know, a lot of people you grow up with fake cousins. I know a lot of people got people that are not blood cousins. You may grow up with people that you call cousin and they're not your cousin. So this is the first time that I get touched. I get molested by a fake cousin. His name was Donnell White. My family's surname is White. My last name is Williams because my mother was married to my father. Um, so he lived this family lived a block away from my grandma's house in Charleston, and I used to go down there because it's almost like my grandma had 6 kids. This family had, I want to think, 10. So it was almost like a ki- uh, a kid for a kid. Like so, I'm gonna just give an example. Like my aunt has a is best friends with a sister. My uncle is best friends with a brother, and so on and so forth. So everybody was paired up with somebody. So we grew up like family. So I used to always be down there. And Donnell is a son of one of the sisters down there. Um, I guess he might have been 12, and I'm probably yeah. I say 5, 6. He's older than me, and to keep it politically correct, he at 5 years old, 5, 6 years old, he made me have oral copulation on him. So after, I can talk to you from the time I revisited this situation with my mom as an adult. But back then, she called my dad. He allegedly came over and approached them and supposed to did all this stuff. But Donnell and his mom lived in New York. So at that time, to my understanding, they just sent, he was like visiting in the summer. They sent him back to New York, whatever. I don't know if my dad came over there and did anything. All I know is my mom, she took me to the doctor. Um, they said it wasn't no vaginal penetration. And because they told her it wasn't no vaginal penetration, she felt like I was okay. And I deem my mom to be very intelligent, but I feel like at that moment, she first of all she didn't listen to me because there was no vaginal penetration. Second, I fault the doctors who even told her that as well, because something happened. Okay, so that this is what clinical therapists are for. You know, I should
Mm,
have had clinical counseling,
correct.
and that means that what happened to me would have been extracted from me from a professional, because they know how to talk to children. So my mom dropped the ball on that by not getting me extensive, you know, clinical help. The doctor as well. I don't know what ethnicity the doctor was. I don't know. But after that, my mother still left me with, with my grandma and went to Hot Springs, Virginia to be a waitress. And I have 4 kids of my own. I have 3 sons, of which are included fraternal twins. My only daughter has a twin brother. The way I guarded my kids with their life, especially my daughter, there's no way that I know something happened to my child and I'm gonna leave you again.
Mm,
So
Right.
my mother leaves me again, and this is when her blood nephew, my mama's sister's son, my mama's sister's, they have the same mom and dad, grew up in the same house, all of this. My first cousin, his name is Kevin, he molested me from that time until I was 10 years old, and he was 4 years older than me. And what makes it so bad is the last time that it happened, even though I moved to DC when I was 8 years old, I still used to come down here on my breaks. We didn't start school till September. So I would still come down here like spring, summer, sometimes Christmas. I stopped coming on my breaks probably when I was in like seventh grade, probably 12. And I was glad. But that's when my cousin, from the time that Donnell did what he did, made me have oral copulation on him, my cousin, and kind of segued into my cousin vaginally penetrating me. And my father died when I was 10. And I'll never forget that summer, because my mother was not down here. She was in DC. And she had just brought me down here for the summer and she left. And then when she came back, I remember like wondering why she was back so quick, and that's when she was coming to tell me that my dad died. And I remember verbatim what I said to my mom, because this is the first person I ever lost in life was my dad at this point at 10. And I remember saying to her, well, why did he do that? Because I don't know what death is at 10. I don't know nothing yet. And, she was explaining that to me. Now, after, I can't remember if it was because I can't remember everything now. I can't remember if it was before my dad died. I mean, before my mom came and my dad died, or after. Because I don't. I would want to think that after we bury my dad, I go back to DC. But I don't remember if it happened that way. But I do know that that was the last time that my cousin violated me, and that really, as I grew and really learned what really happened to me, and you look back at life, I realized how like callous and malicious that was, to do that to somebody knowing they just lost their father. He's 14 now, and he had a girlfriend, so I couldn't figure out why he was bothering me. And he actually had a girlfriend. Her name was Tracy. Like, I remember, you know what I mean? Like, I remember them kissing and hugging behind doors and things, and I just couldn't understand why he would bother me as his cousin when he actually had a girlfriend. So, um, I remember what I had on the night it happened. I had on a white night shirt with blue polka dots on it. My grandmother had went to like a tea. My grandmother's house was 3 stories, so she would stay on the first floor. My great grandmother would was on the second floor. My great grandmother lived to be 112, so she never really came downstairs at night. So I feel like he took that opportunity because he knew I was home in my grandmother's bed. I remember him coming in because him at this time, my aunt and him and my other cousin lived like right around the corner in an apartment on Reed Street. And I remember him coming in, and I was, I think I was coming out of the bathroom, and I remember him asking me like, "You got hair down there?" And I'm just answering stupid questions, like not real. I'm like, yeah, I'm like, I'm not thinking anything of it. And he just like pushed me on the bed and, attempted to, because mind you now, remember I told you he had been doing this to me since I was like 5 or 6. So as
Mm-hmm.
he's growing, I guess he's getting bigger. So this particular time, which was the last time, now that I know, you grown, you don't know that you not wet. You don't know about, you don't know about that. You just know you're not supposed to know at 10 anyway. But when that experience, I remember that it was friction. Of course, I guess of course I'm dry. I'm 10 years old. I don't even think I had I got my period like probably the next year. But I just remember it wasn't, it wasn't, uh, it wasn't successful for him. It was friction, and when it didn't, go the way that he wanted it to go, he just got up and left. And those feelings of being treated like that never left me mentally.
Mm.
So I have always picked horrible men. I have always, today, I've never had a man that was good to me. Never.
Wow. So before we get into the men, um, and let me know if I'm out of line. You say, hey, like, sis, no. But I feel like your mom dropped the ball.
Oh yeah, she definitely
And
did. That's why
that's
we don't have a good relationship today. Because I try to, when you go through life with unresolved issues, it's
hmm
going to always be an open door of unresolved issues. So I try to, because my mom is my only parent, that I really, my dad died when I was 10. So this my only parent. Regardless to if she was a top tier mom or not, she took care of me. I can honestly say I had hot meals every day. I didn't eat out. Um, she was protective to a fault, but the damage had already done by the time you want to be protective.
Right.
You get
correct.
what I'm
Right.
saying? Like by the time she wanted to be protective, the damage has already been done. I had a lot of freedom. I had a lot of freedom here
Mm.
and in DC. I was involuntarily promiscuous. Um, I can't even tell you that love was even in the equation. I just always felt like an object. It was always older men from down here to DC that were just always.
Sis, your
Hold on
phone is, yeah.
1 minute, sis. Your audio is cracking up.
Yeah, your audio was cracking up.
I don't know.
Okay, say something now.
Yeah, I don't know if it's my audio.
Yeah.
Say something else, sis.
You said me. I mean, I hear the static, but I don't know if it's from me.
Yeah, it's not. Sunday, say something.
Hello, hello.
Aaliyah. Yeah, no, I don't know.
Okay, say something now, sis.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
I don't
Okay,
think it's
it's
from
a
me
little
though.
better now.
It's choppy.
It's
Yeah,
not.
it's real choppy. It's like your service is going out.
Yeah, it's like your services. Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, she'll be
Maybe
right back
hang
on.
up.
She'll be right back on.
Yeah, I don't know.
Shout outs to everybody on the panel. Just wanted to come up and make sure y'all technical difficulties get taken care of. Uh, the sister be right back on momentarily. Um, Shout outs to the hosts. I see y'all doing y'all thing, ladies, the divas, Sister Star, everybody doing their thing. Powerful testimony, powerful testimony. Um, just make sure there you go, add it back to the screen and y'all good to go. Shout outs to the panel. Shout outs to everybody leaving comments. If y'all like what y'all hearing, definitely hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell icon. And it's just a blessing to be able to hear a testimony like that. So I'm gonna get the floor back to Sister Tiffany. Let her do a sound check real quick, and then if she good, y'all go back straight to it.
I just went out, came back in. I'm trying to pinpoint, you know,
I don't know.
She's still sounding real choppy.
okay. I know, I
Yeah.
don't get it.
Yeah, it's really choppy. It's mm,
It's like your speaker, something with your speaker.
My speaker.
Yeah,
Have her leave one more time and try
mm,
to. I'm gonna try to play with the settings.
okay. Leave one more time for us, Sister Star,
and
and
come
he's
back.
gonna play with the settings. So when you come back, we can see if that clears up the audio.
She's frozen.
You froze. It's her service area.
Yeah.
Hey, bestie. Yeah, it's a service area.
But yeah, this is good. That's how the enemy work when you dropping some information and you
Yes,
really opening up. It
Yes.
get to the point where you're not able to. It's blocking it because she frozen. I'm gonna remove her off the screen. All right, she removed herself. Good. Um, I'm just gonna say what's up to a few people. What's going on, Sister Michelle? You know, Michael McCoy. What's going on, my guy? Nikki.
that's
What's
my
going on?
bestie. That's my bestie.
Ladies, y'all doing an excellent job. Um, I guess like, how did you? This is somebody you know from New York.
No, actually, one of the brothers in the chat,
Okay.
and she had a very powerful story, and I feel like people need to know because we have so many children, especially from our generation, right, that have
Hmm.
went through these traumas, girls and boys.
For sure.
Um, the sisters, girls are normally more open about it, like they'll talk about it more so than young men. And I think later on in during the show, we're going to segue into why young men don't speak up more, right? And I just want to say I believe because the older men treat it like a badge of honor when you have relations with older women and stuff like that. So we'll
Right.
talk about that a little later on in the show. Hopefully the sister. Hey, she's back.
Say something, Sister Star.
Hello.
Lady.
Hey, there we
Much
go.
better.
All right, I'm
Much better.
gone. Y'all continue. Have a great show.
Okay,
All right,
I just
thank you.
want to say, Sister Star, brother Darian came in to check with our IT, but he said something while you were gone. The enemy does not want you to tell your story. And this is why these things are happening right now tonight. But you know what? We're going to push forward because the enemy never wins. Not
That's
over
right.
here.
Yeah, I mean, I told this story before on a different platform. It's. I always tell people I don't feel like my story is unique. I just feel like a lot of women just are, for some reason, in bondage and shame about what happens to them. Overtly. I talk to women every day, and they open up to me, but they won't probably open up. The way I open up. So sometimes they just, they feel like it's the past, but I feel like it's forever a part of me because of what I've been through and what I continue to go through in relationships.
It's kind of hard to share this type of trauma, right? And be open about it and candid. You were very candid when we talked. You didn't know me from a can of paint, but
That's
I
what
hear you
everybody
say
like that.
right, and that's what I told you when you say to me right earlier today. You said my story is not unique, and what did I say? It's what makes you you. It's what makes you you, sis. You push through all of this. You have more to tell, right? But you push through, and you are very, very. You're extraordinary to me because
I
to hear
appreciate it.
you tell your story, and I know that there's so many young women out here and that are suffering in silence because they can't talk about it or they have no one to talk about it to, and to hear you just say, listen, this is me, this is my story, love it or hate it, I'm here. And I love that for you.
Hey, if I
And
may, and I
yeah,
apologize for interrupting y'all show, I just want to tell the sister Star, you are a certified hero for coming up here and telling your story because it's a lot of people, a lot of young women, and a lot of young men who've been in the same position you were, and they feel like they don't have a voice. So I just wanted to come up and salute to you personally and let you know that what you're doing is not something to be taken lightly, and you deserve all the honors and respect that come with being a hero for coming up here and telling your story and giving people a voice who don't have one. Shout out to the Divas for giving you the platform. As always, I appreciate y'all. I just wanted to come down and give y'all props.
Thank you. Salute to you. But yeah, so when you were gone, we were just talking about how this happens, right? It happens often in our communities. For a long time, it was like swept under the rug. We're coming into a generation of children who are just saying, "No, fuck that. I'm telling my story," right? And what I see is that women are more, or the girls are more likely to tell it more so than the men or the boys, right? So when it comes to the boys being touched by older women and stuff like that in our community, it's seen, and I've seen this growing up myself. It's considered a badge of honor. Oh, you got to hit the older chick, and it's okay.
y'all still hit static.
Yes,
I don't understand how to turn my phone off and on. It wasn't static in the beginning.
you want to try to go out and come back again, and maybe reset your phone.
Sorry.
You want to try to
You
go
hear
out
me
and
now?
come back again and reset your phone, reset it, and see what happens.
Yeah, I'm gonna try it again.
Okay. Well, ladies.
But yes, back to what you were saying. A lot of people do not talk about their trauma, and that's why we have a lot of people in our communities that are pretty messed up. Um, a lot of people haven't been diagnosed properly diagnosed because majority of the females or males that's been violated, that that trauma causes different type of mental illness,
Hmm.
and when it's left untreated, undiagnosed, and people like, what's wrong with so and so and why they acting this way and that way? Well, they got a lot in them that they haven't been able to deal with. They had nobody to talk to, so neglect over time. And yeah, I just think she's brave because she's able to talk about it. So that means that's healing. When you're able to talk about it freely, that means you have healed, or you in a healing process.
And I saw a post one day, and the young lady said, "Oh, you guys talk about this generation being hypersexual," and she said, "You were the ones that molested us." And I said, We never looked at hypersexuality that way, right? We don't look at it. We don't look at the girls who are out here being promiscuous, the boys who just have all these women. We don't look at something may have happened to them at a very young age, and nobody stepped in and said, because we just now the black community is coming into therapy, and you still got people who don't want to go to therapy today.
Correct.
So it's like, listen, there's so many, and I shared this story with you guys. you know on time, I'm the type of mother that I'll let my sons have their company, right? Because I always felt like if I knew where they were, I knew they were
Okay.
safe.
It's, I don't
Mhm.
know.
And
It's,
I just
it's broadcast. It's a broadcast because um, I done made a phone call and my phone is not, doesn't have this type of
it's fine now.
friction
Yeah,
on.
you sound good now.
You sound good now.
Okay. Okay.
So I said to I heard them in there talking about some young ladies. You know how the boys talk. And I go
Mm.
in the room and I just sit in the room with them, and they like, "Oh, mom, come on, and why you in here?" And I'm like, "No, finish your conversation." And they're talking about these little girls, and I asked them. I said, "Listen, let me ask you a question. You calling these girls hoes? You calling them whatever, slides, business, whatever these kids say?" But this was years ago. And I said, "Did any of you guys ever stop? Any of you boys ever stop to think that you don't know what that girl is going home to? You don't know if her father, uncle, cousin, mother's boyfriend, whatever, is touching her. You don't know what happened." I said, "I guarantee you, if you talk to some of your closest friends, the girls, they'll have a story for you." And I never got a response from any one of them except for my middle son. And he came back and he said, "Ma, you was right." And I was like, "What do you mean?" Because I forgot that, we had that talk because it was a while. And
Mm.
he said, I talked to a couple of my friends and they all had the same story. They've all been violated. And he was like, "You was right." And yeah, this is a conversation that needs to be had. It needs to be had. It really does.
It's
And
like I don't know why people. I can't. I can't speak for nobody else. I don't know. Some people. They're very when they do when the ones that do talk about it, like some of the celebrities I've seen it. It always has to be theatrics with it. It's nothing to be proud of. It's nothing to be ashamed of either. But it's just one of those situations that it doesn't have to be sensationalized. You know what I mean? Like I've seen Monique tell her story, and she's just so theatrical to me. And that's not to discredit anything that happened to her, but I feel like when she tells her story, it's always it's just pretentious. It's extra because she's a celebrity. I'm a regular person. Who knows? Even if I became, had notoriety, celebrity, it's just something to talk about. You want to prevent it. I'm a preventative person. I think about I was able to safeguard my daughter. So, you know, I think if more people
she
you know,
froze.
but I just feel like it's just something that's it's perpetual. It's probably gonna never end. But my goal would be for it to be less likely to happen than possible. It's just you entrusting the wrong people. Like I never trusted anybody around my daughter. Like nobody, not even her brothers. I just, I had a healthy fear of, you know what I'm saying? It just was something that was always in the back of my mind. She couldn't go to sleepovers. I don't regret it. I tell her I'm sorry, but I always would be like, I don't know who's over there at their friend's house. I don't know who, I don't know who's over there.
See,
You
everything
know?
you went through, I believe, made you a better mother because
Oh,
a lot of
it
times when
definitely
we go
is.
through things, we like, oh, I'm gonna be a better mother than my mother. I know that was my whole spiel. Like, I set out to be better than my mother.
I just set out to I didn't want my daughter. My daughter, she thorough. But she not me. You know what I'm saying? Like she not me. So
You mold her to be the person that that you wanted her to be. Well, let me not tell you that. I feel like with everything I went through, I mold my daughters to be the person I feel like I was supposed to be because a lot of things that happened to me, I feel like I wasn't the person that I was supposed to be. So I made sure that they was the person that they were supposed to be, and I made sure that they was able to have everything I didn't, and more so made sure that they was very vocal, just everything that I wasn't able to be or do. I feel like I molded very strong, great young ladies.
yeah, when I was, talking to y'all about the beginning stages of my life, I left out a big part of it, not on purpose. It's just, you know, um, just me having to talk about certain things. My father was a heroin addict, and so I would when my father stayed,
Sis, if you can hear me, your phone is frozen.
I had the best grandparents. Like I honestly feel like if it wasn't for my grandparents, I probably would be a different person. Where my father dropped the ball, my paternal grandfather picked it up. I never had the luxury of meeting my maternal grandfather because my mother was 7 months pregnant with me when he died. So I never met my maternal grandfather, but my paternal grandfather was a saint. He was a World War II veteran. Um, he died when I was 42 years old. He died in 2018. There was nothing that I wanted and I couldn't get from him. Like it it it, it could have been times when my car broke down. He would just come to the car repair place and just pay whatever the tab was. You know, um, I never heard him raise his voice. He didn't have any outside children. He never cheated on my grandma. He never cheated on her when she passed away. He stayed single, you know. So I believe my father was verbally and physically abusive. I'm certain that's why him and my mom didn't make it. Um, he shot drugs in front of me. He was also diabetic. But I didn't realize the difference between. This is why I always tell people, "Are y'all still on?"
Yes.
Okay. This is why I always tell people. This is why I have a problem with people who attempt to undermine my intelligence because it's always an attempt because you never will undermine my intelligence. I don't care who you think you are. Um, but my father was diabetic and he also was a heroin addict. So in the thick of it, of course, I don't know what's going on. I just know that he's getting needles. But as I grew and I became an adult, I realized that he put his insulin in his stomach. I remember he used to go to the refrigerator, get it, put it in his stomach, like right at the refrigerator. But when he shot the heroin in his arm, he had a friend named Eddie. He looked like an Indian, but I believe he was a white man. He had a brown Pinto. He would come through and be right in my dad's room, and he would put the needle in his arm. They had no regard for me. They never would be like, "Oh, leave the room." It was just overtly in my face. So, and I think that my dad, because I was always told that my dad thought, my dad was smart, or he thought he could outsmart people. Um, I don't think he undermined my intelligence because, and I didn't know what was going on until I got grown. I was like, "Oh wow." he really was doing drugs in front of me, like recklessly. But I knew that the needle in his stomach was medicine, and the one that was being put in his arm was drugs.
Right.
But it took me to become grown to realize that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just I don't. I had my father was a terrible man to me. Like I think if he was alive today, I was told he was arrogant. And I knew I've experienced the arrogant streak with him one time when I was in the second grade, and it was show and tell day, and I brought a stray cat to school. I don't know no better. I brought a stray cat to school, and I guess when it was time to talk about the pet, I couldn't really, say anything about the pet because it was a stray cat, and they called uh my dad to come get. Of course, my mom is not here, so they called my dad. He comes get me, and my grandma lived in her house was in like this little, I guess can't call it an alley, but it was like a little dead end, like, but it's houses down there, and it's like we my father at that point, the diabetes had got the best of him. He had the heel of his foot cut off, and he had one of his fingers cut off. So he walked with a cane. So he walked from to the school to get me, and walked. We walked back to my grandma's house. So when we got right into the alleyway, he knocked the cat. He knocked it out of my hand. I'll never forget that. And he was telling me how stupid I was to bring a stray cat to school. But he kept it cool till we got to where nobody could see us. You see what I'm saying? So it's just things like I don't I got the only one good memory I have of my dad was him riding his bike from across town to my mom's house to see me and sit on the step and talk to me. That's the only good memory I've had of him. Prior to that, he used to take me he was in a wheelchair at times. He would take me to the store and steal. He was a booster. He would like tell me stuff like, go back there, go walk back there and tell me if you see anything hanging from under my seat. He was sitting on clothes, stealing them, going to the car, throwing them in trash bags. And I remember, getting nice coats and shit. I always had nice stuff. But he was stealing it. So he taught me how to steal. So stuff like that.
I think your phone is doing the thing again.
I never smoked cigarettes. I never did. I never did drugs. A lot of great stuff. I think
Says you cutting out again. Your phone is doing the thing again.
what you say.
I think Marlon's backstage.
Only God, but I'm hearing that.
Hi, Marlon.
Peace, peace. How y'all doing?
What's
Hey,
going on with
Marlon.
you, brother?
All right, I'm good. How y'all divas doing? Y'all looking good tonight. The show's looking good. Everything is straight. I love it.
Okay,
Keep
then
it.
we'll bring you back a little later. Right now, this is about.
For sure, for sure. That's what I said. Let her go ahead and do her thing, and I'll holler back later. You
Okay.
sit backstage though. Y'all keep it going. All right, peace.
Ivory,
Yes, I'm here.
you gonna put Marlon backstage.
Okay.
Star, can you hear us? To our audience, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and also hype this segment, please, and thank you.
That's right. Hype us up.
Hype
Hype
us
us
up.
up.
The sister should be back in a minute. Here we go. This something doesn't want this conversation to happen, but it's going to happen. Right, Sister Ivy? Right, Sunday? Right, Aaliyah?
Right, that's right.
Absolutely.
Smash
Right,
that like
right.
button. And while we waiting on the sister to come back, Sister Tiffany Starr, she has a fresh paint beauty line. Um, Let me put that up here so you guys can go and check out her cosmetic line.
Yes, please support the sister. Since such StreamYard kicked her out.
Who StreamYard did?
Hmm.
Wow. I had to get comfortable, y'all. I'm sorry. I want to put my robe on.
It's okay.
I'm not sure.
Um, Let me see.
Okay, let's go to the comments. Timotheus, shout out to Timotheus. I see you in the comments.
And yes, Timothy. Shout out to Timotheus. He is our graphics person.
Mythius.
Yes. Shout out to Sister Cookie. We miss you here tonight. And thank you for the compliment.
And Sin, come on back up, please.
Yes, Sin has a lot to say. Sin, get back up here, sister. I'm sorry, I'm late. I'm just not looking at the comments. Okay,
Uh,
welcome back, Sister Tiffany.
Yeah, I can't see the comments. I don't know if it's Facebook because I really tried to log into the StreamYard, and it said something. I don't know if it's because my account with YouTube is Google. It was saying something. I sent a screenshot to Light. It said something about StreamYard doesn't align with their policies or something. So I'm doing it through Facebook. So I don't know if that has something to do with it.
yeah, it's been given a lot of difficulty for the last couple of shows that we've been on, but I don't.
It's a lot of static.
Are you stationary, sister?
There's a lot going on in my house, so I wouldn't be able to listen to the computer.
Question, do you have the audio hooked up to your Bluetooth? Is the audio hooked up to a Bluetooth?
On my phone, I have an iPhone. I mean,
Is it hooked up to you? Have it hooked up to your car?
She froze again. Mm-hmm. Froze again.
But yeah, you guys, like when it comes to trauma, we have to definitely deal with it. Because there's a lot of times where that trauma is passed down to our children and that cycle continues. Especially when it comes to abuse, whether it's verbal or physical abuse. I've seen it too many times where, a parent may think that they're healed and, but now the child is being affected. Yeah, it's just
I think we passed fear,
yeah, it's
trauma.
projected fear.
We just passed on so many things to our children, and then sometimes we don't realize it until it's too late.
Very bad echo.
Hold on. I gotta mute your mic, Sin. That's Sin. Okay. Go ahead, like.
Yeah, sometimes we don't realize it until it's too late. All of those things that we want to guard them from, right? We want to hold them close. We don't want some of the things that we've experienced to happen to them. And a lot of times that's creating friction within the relationship with you and your child. So we really have to get into therapy and learn how to deal with these traumas that we have, because we're not, as parents, some of us aren't raising healthy children because we're not mentally or emotionally healthy ourselves. So,
But I think when you are protecting your kids, like, hey, you can't go sleep over so and so house, but they can come over here, type thing. It's
mhm,
more so because you know what's out there.
right,
So you're trying to protect your kids. And th- a a lot of times kids don't understand it until they older, and you able to,
explain.
when they explain, and you think that when they're ready to accept what the unknown, because you don't tell your kids a lot of things, or why, hey, this is why you can't do X, Y, and Z until they older. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm gonna go in the house and try to log in on my computer.
Okay.
Go
Well,
ahead, sister. We'll wait for you, sister.
What's that? Yeah, I'm gonna go log in on my computer. All right.
okay. But I think, Sister Ivory, because I agree with you a lot, but I'm
Mhm.
starting to see like we got to start having these conversations with our children, right? Even if we have to make them age appropriate, where they'll kind of get it. Because I didn't let my boys, like, they couldn't spend the night out unless they went together because they're 4 years apart. So when I did start letting them spend the night out, they had, if one couldn't come, the other one couldn't go. You know what I mean? So it's like, but again, so sometimes your kids feel, they grow up when you move like that, when you say, oh no, you can't do this or you can't do that, they start to feel almost like you're a warden. And it's like, I can't do nothing, I can't go nowhere, and sometimes that can cause a resentment, right? So that's why I'm really an advocate for having age appropriate conversations with your children. I'm an advocate for that because I think had my mom did it with me instead of no, you just can't stay out, right?
Mhm.
Cause I felt like she don't want to let me do nothing. My mother was the warden, but I did realize at a very early age, which I would call 18, that
Mhm.
nothing she ever told me was wrong. But sometimes it takes people way more years than that to figure it out that your parents weren't wrong. And yeah, I see Nikki in the comments saying sometimes your children can help you heal from trauma. And
Mhm.
that's absolutely true. I think children need to be heard, right? Because we came from that generation as children should be seen and not heard. And those are the children that things like this happen to, and nobody hears them because they're told not to speak. Yeah.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, I see your point with that.
Yeah, I definitely let my kids express themselves as long as it's respectful, and I definitely explain why I make the decisions I make, so they'll know why they should make those decisions when I'm not in their presence. Like, and all that. I talk to my kids a whole lot.
But
Yeah.
yeah, we gotta start talking to these babies because these kids are, we was up against a lot, right, when we were coming up, but the
Mhm.
kids these days are up against a lot more. And because everything is so open to them, right? Things weren't that open to us, right? We had to go outside. We had to meet people by going outside. These kids now could just turn on a device and they can meet people clear across the world. So we really have to have these conversations with our children. We really have to have these conversations because there's a lot of predators out here. Not only is there predators on the internet, but there's predators right in your own family. So we really need to be having these conversations.
Correct.
So while we waiting for the sister, do you got you ladies want to touch on the sexual abuse of boys, because I know when I was coming up, it was more about your daughters, right? Nobody was saying protect your sons. And this is why we found out later on, I think for me, it was around the time Antoine Fisher came out, that the boys were being touched at the same rate as the girls were, whether it was by another male or female. And women have been molesting both boys and girls. So we got to look at too, we have a lot of children who question their sexuality because of these things that have happened to them. No, you're right, Nikki. They are. They're very much smarter than we give them credit for. But I think it's a taboo in our community, right, to talk to your children about certain things, and we have to break those barriers. We really have to break down those barriers. We have to kick those walls down and understand that the children are way smarter than we give them credit for. You're 100% right.
I also hear a lot of people don't like to talk to younger kids about things and tend to want to shelter them, but I don't necessarily agree with that either because I want my kids prepared for I don't want the world to teach them nothing. I want to taught them whatever I want them to know about whatever subject before they even get in the world and experience it. So they're
Right.
not, they're not able to be fooled or nobody's able to tell them anything about it. I don't want them to know or don't believe about it. So I'm not with sheltering them just because they're younger or, anything like that. Tell them babies what's going on.
Yeah, I think when you shelter your children, you do them a disservice because they'll get out into the world and their peers will teach them. I mean, the peers don't know the correct way either. So that's just my take on it. I think we need to be their teacher. We need to prepare them to go out into this world.
I think it also depends on the family dynamic you have. So it depends on what kind of family members you have, whether you're actually sheltering them from, you know, their peers or if you're sheltering them from family members. Because sometimes you don't know what kind of family somebody has where they might have the same type of family members that you might see as peer groups out there. So they might still learn those same things from family members, say their cousins or something like that. They might not miss it just because they're not playing outside. They might get the same teachings from the family dynamic if you have a family that you can, go to, some uncles, cousins, and things of that nature. So it depends.
You have to absolutely watch your kids around other kids. Other kids will mess with your children too,
Hmm.
expose them to things and traumatize them and all of that as well. So
I mean, that's why for me, like I look at all kids as my kids, right? And some people just be like,
Is it
you
better?
know,
Yes.
It's better now?
yes,
Mm,
ma'am.
much
Hey,
better. Much better.
much
Okay.
better, sis. Much better.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that
I want a
I see
computer.
people I see people online be like, oh, people just want a village because they want people to raise their kids. And I'm like, no, because our kids go out and they make contact with these kids.
Right.
So as a community, we supposed to be raising these children properly so that when they get around each other, they're not introducing each other to a bunch of BS. I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't get it. Glad to have you back, sis. So yeah, we were just kicking it about the molestation of
I'm
children.
glad to be back without the static.
We were just kicking it on how we need to be having these conversations with children and not sheltering them.
It's unhealthy and epidemic. It's never going to end. As long as we got pedophiles on the loose, know who they are. That's the problem. They're chameleons. You just never know who they are. So I had a healthy fear that it could have been anybody. So my daughter could not do certain things. I had to train my kids to protect my daughter.
Right. So I was just
Like
saying when
at
you were gone,
all
I
costs.
was
You have to be brothers. So
I,
I
I
know
was just I don't know. Can you hear me? Cannon, where are you? We may need you. Um,
fear of me, not because yeah, I knew I knew I wasn't. I can hear you.
no, what I was saying is that we came up in an era, right, where they were telling people to protect their daughters. Nobody really was talking about protect their boys. And then we come to find out later that the boys were being touched just as much as the girls were, whether it was by a man or a woman.
Yeah, but I didn't. I still haven't. I didn't learn that that was a real thing until I became an adult. I'll say that. So, but it's different predators with men too. It could be somebody that it could be a homosexual situation, or it could be um, a statutory rape situation,
Hmm.
and it could be a woman, and that's where the lines are blurred because people think that it, molestation only happens to women. They wear they wear their violations as a badge of honor. Like your mom's aunt, your mom's friend who you call your aunt, if she touched you like you was violated.
Yeah, most.
Some of them they've been violated by their teachers.
Hmm.
It's crazy, and they think that it's snitching or it's not cool because they feel like they got them some early and she older. Like it's not cool because I mean I just feel like their trauma is different. They don't really um,
They don't process it as trauma until they get a little older.
they don't suffer.
I don't know. Her phone is frozen. I mean, her
Y'all are going
computer.
around like in a circle, in and out.
Yeah, they don't process it as trauma, right? Because
Yeah, I'm on a
the
computer
older,
now, so
yeah, is the older men in the community usually cheer them on. Oh, yeah, you hitting the older joint, and yeah, young man, whatever, whatever. But they don't understand. They didn't understand that it causes hypersexuality in these boys. And now we got grown men running around here trying to sleep with everybody they want to sleep with, or treating women with disrespect
definitely.
because they have no respect for them. But I have a question to the panel. Do you think that women got away with doing this because they hid behind what men were doing? Because everybody was looking at men instead of, and they got away with this for so long because they were hiding behind what men were doing. Do you guys think that played a part?
No, I don't necessarily think they were hiding behind men. It just wasn't, unfortunately, seen as bad. But I don't necessarily think they were hiding. They were doing what they were doing. Nobody just nobody spoke up, and in some instances, it was congratulated.
But these women knew what they were doing and they knew they were wrong. And the community wasn't looking at them like that, so they continued to do it, knowing that they were out of line for touching this little boy or girl that you were left to be responsible for. So you don't think that they weren't hiding behind the fact that nobody really was looking at women as predators. They were mainly looking at men.
Is Ditta speaking?
You must be on mute.
You on mute, did her?
So go out and come back.
Gonna come back. I
Well,
I
if it
would
was,
say that majority of, I'm not trying to make an excuse for women, or maybe all of them were molested themselves, and they turn around and molest others also. You get what I'm saying? Those
Right.
women that, well, that could go for the males too. I don't know.
Can y'all hear me now?
well,
Yes.
Yes. So to your question, Sister Light, Um, to an extent, yes, but I think the biggest issue was because when the men would see these young boys, like you said before, it was a pat on the back for them. For them, it was seen as like a rite of passage. Oh, you 15 and you smashing a 20-year-old, or you hit that, and you said she still keeps coming back, not realizing and recognizing that you guys, the boys that you're talking to, they were being raped. Like that's the definition of rape, and it's not just what you call a rape, it's actual rape. You understand? And I'm not blaming all men, because we know men are not a monolith, and we have to keep saying that, because a lot of them have a tendency to get upset about that. But out in society, this was one of the things that men did, and they congratulated him, and now you're a man because you're having sex, and you're having sex with these adult women. And so the women didn't really have to take very much accountability for the things that they did. You understand? Perfect example. Look at R. Kelly. We know his sister was probably touched and molested and so on and so forth, but she passed that trauma on to him. Nobody would ever really know that that happened. Okay, until we didn't know that he was molested unless you knew how to think about it clinically. But no one outside of that would have known he was being molested or he had been being touched until it came out about him with these preferences for younger kids, because it wasn't just girls, it was boys too. So if you look at it, they say
But
you
he
have a
tried to.
tendency to,
He only that
huh?
he only exposed that as a defense.
I
He
know,
only
but
exposed that truth as a defense.
I know, and my one of my things
It's not.
is that
It
Before
wasn't him
that
that
happened.
exposed. It
It was
wasn't
his
him that
brother.
exposed that truth. It was his
it was the
brother.
brother. The
And
brother was
that
the one that told it.
Well,
that came out that years ago before this trial.
Hmm.
That came out years ago that his sister was touching them, and not only the sister, the a landlord, right? I think it was the
I think it
landlord
was
as
a
well.
landlord, yeah. And what tends to happen is the age that it happens to you, those are the children that you tend to seek out.
Hmm.
You're in that age range. So that's where those are the children. So if it happened to you at 10, you more than likely try to do 10-year-olds or touch 10-year-olds. It's a very deep
well,
seated
I ain't
situation.
never touched nobody. I ain't
No,
never
because you
touched
made it. But
nobody.
listen,
I
I'm
ain't
not.
never
I'm
want to
not
touch.
using that as an excuse, because the thing is, right,
No,
is
no, I'm
that
just saying.
you made a choice.
It's
No, you made a choice. Because see, there's some. It's like with anything else that happens that's traumatic. As a result of the trauma, you have a choice to either you're gonna turn around and do the same thing to someone else, hurt people, or B, you know what, I'm going to do different because I don't want the same thing that happened to me to happen to anyone else.
Right.
Your
no,
choice,
I
sis, which was
disagree.
I'm gonna tell you, is a very strong choice. Was I'm not gonna do the same thing. I don't
I
want
can
to.
tell
I
you,
don't want to put the same thing on someone else that I had put on me.
but I'm telling you, for me, it was never a choice. I clearly just was intrinsically a good person. It never ever crossed my mind. I never had to decipher whether I'm going to do good or do bad. It never crossed my mind to do that to anybody. So I'm telling you from, because this is my story. It was never a choice I had to make. It was never a thought. I basically was thriving through my trauma. I was a
Okay.
I think
babysitter
that
at 12. I watched kids,
well, we have to understand that
and I
trauma
never.
affect.
I got.
We have to
Go ahead.
understand that trauma affects people differently, right? So we thank God that you weren't this person, right? other people will be that person. So, a lot of times I hear people say, well, if it was me or if I was, it just doesn't work like that. Unfortunately, you would want to think that if this was happening to you, if this happened to you, that you would not want to turn around and hurt somebody else the same way, but it just doesn't work like that all the
I
time.
get my whole thing of making this statement is that it was never a thought. Is for me is what I'm
Right.
trying to say. It
No,
was never something I had to. Oh my God, I'm not going. You know what? I'm not going to do that. I never had those thoughts. I was just a good kid. I was green, and things happened to me, and I just thrived. Like I only could speak for me.
right. No,
I didn't
I'm
really
so,
even I didn't
I'm
really
sorry.
even realize that the things that had happened to me were even wrong. You understand?
Right.
You don't really know that you're a kid. You don't know that what's happening is wrong. It's just happening. So as you continue to grow and become yourself, you know, you morph into this human. You learn that how life is supposed to be. So in some of these things that you actually begin to think about, like for me, I my me being molested and things like that, there's something called repressed memories,
Mhm.
right? There's something called repressed memories. When I moved to DC, it was almost like nothing happened. I never thought about what happened to me. I was introduced to a new environment, new people, a new way of life. Just everything was like new when I went. It was like everything was. I had a clean slate. I did not start even remembering my being molested until I had to come back here. So that's what repressed memories do. You know, when I came back to my grandmother's house, I came back down here. Things start to come back to you. And then my cousin, he just started to call me a lot. And one day I just started having dreams. I was having dreams about it. And, I was like, these dreams are just too real. Like, I know this stuff really happened to me. Like, it was just too familiar. And I just asked him, I said, do you remember when you used to, do things to me? And he was like, yes. But if you don't forgive me for what I did to you, God is not going to forgive you for your sins. And that's when I knew. I was like, yeah, something's wrong with him because life don't work like that. And that's when all the memories about what happened to me here just started to resurface because they were buried. So
Do
repressed
you think
memories
it
is
was?
a real thing. 'Cause when I was in
Do you
DC,
think? Mhm. No, no, no. Go ahead.
I'm listening. No, I'm done. I'm listening.
Do you
I
think
know you had
that
a question.
because yes, sweetheart. Do you think because when you moved away, because you were away from him, you felt safer, and maybe that's why you didn't think and dwell on it as much because you didn't have to be around him consistently. You didn't have to see him. You didn't have to have contact with him constantly. Do you think maybe that's one of the reasons why?
I mean, to be honest, it's just never as I never thought it, I can't remember like it just it's not like I can't say I was afraid of him.
Mhm.
My mom was the type of person like she wasn't the favorite aunt, if that makes sense. Like they were always
Mhm.
scared of my mom. So I guess I had a sense of relief that I was just finally with my mom. Like I felt safe with my mom.
Mhm.
So because I knew that if
my mother was even in the city during those times where I was touched, nobody would have ever touched me. Like people were really scared of my mom. Like I was scared of my mom. You know, she was
Mm.
just a very firm person. You know, like she's if you don't know her, people who know her and who meet her be like they think she's just sweet as pie. She's like, oh my god, we love you. Da, 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 da. But growing up, she just was one of them ones that you didn't talk back to her. You know, like you stay in a child place. She was quick to put you in your place if you were a child. Like so, she didn't go. You know, she wasn't the cool aunt.
Right.
So they would have never, if my mom was anywhere near Charleston during these times, nobody would have did nothing to me. I know that for a fact. So I just feel like I just finally was with my mom. I was supposed to be with her, but you know, she kept leaving me, coming back, leaving me, coming back. I mean, I was put on a Greyhound bus at 5 years old by myself, sitting up front with the driver, coming from New York to down here. Like, who does that? Nobody would do that today.
Oh,
My grandmother gave me a letter that somebody wrote me at I was 7 years old. It was 1982. It was a letter that some lady had wrote me who had met me on the Greyhound bus. That's crazy. You know, like I wouldn't put my daughter on a city bus at at 7 years old. Like that's
much less to
crazy.
go on a long
That's
distance trip. That was a lot. That was traumatic in and of itself.
the stuff that was going on is just unfathomable. Like it's I
You
don't
know
I
what?
just
It was a lot of trust back then. Now that things have come out about kidnappings and trafficking and all that other stuff, now we're all on our p's and q's and everybody's on high alert. But back then, nobody thought about that. They didn't they didn't think about kidnapping. They just overall felt like people. They had an innate trust in folks, in certain folks, and just felt like they were good. So they were like, "Yeah, we can put her on the bus. It's not a problem. Here, take this note and go stand over there."
We
I
wouldn't
was
even do
living in
that.
DC when it was the walking from uptown to downtown, walking through alleys in the dark, running like, and nothing ever happened to me.
Hmm.
We wouldn't
I
even
Now,
had
do
a lot
that
of
today.
freedom. It's crazy.
yeah.
Today, we would not put our
Huh?
kids in the Greyhound at 5, right? Today, we wouldn't do it. But back then,
Uh,
I started
But I
taking the
was
train
really
in New York
seven.
City at 9 years old, coming from 167th Street and River Avenue to 14th Street and Avenue A by myself.
when I was taking the
No,
bus in second grade, I was taking the bus to school by myself. I only had to go 5 city bus stops from my house to my school. And I was that my mother put me on the bus the first week. Every day she put me on the bus and she drove behind the bus to watch me get on the bus, watch me get off the bus, so that she was basically teaching me how to travel, to get off the bus so that I can get to school on time.
But I think back then, right, we still had a village.
To an extent, we really did.
To an extent, we still had a village. I think when we lost our villages at that 84, 85, 86, 87,
During the crack era, we really did.
era, the crack era, to me, for me, I look, it destroyed everything that we knew to be normal.
It ravaged our community. It really did. Because before that, it was
a
more.
village can't.
You
A village, they
You
can't
said
be
what?
everywhere. A village
No,
isn't ubiquitous. A village is only, you know, parameter
Mhm.
based. You know, when you sitting around your house or whatever, like yeah. But when you leave that your house, you know, like I
Yeah.
used to be all over the place. So your village, my village ain't follow me.
I don't
Right.
know, because I would be places, and I mean, people that I did not know would be like, your mother's looking for you. You would think they had cell phones back then. Because I would not know these people. I could be maybe maybe 10 blocks away, and somebody will walk up like, your mother's looking for you. And I'm looking at this person like, well, where you know me from? Because I don't know you. And this is why we didn't know who knew our parents back then. So we kind of stayed in line a little more than when we got to this era now of don't say nothing to my child. So I don't know.
I moved from a place where everybody knew me to DC when nobody knew me.
Right.
So nobody knew me and nobody knew my mom.
Right.
So nobody can't go tell my mom nothing because they don't even know who my mom is.
Oh, yeah, I got in. I didn't get in trouble, but my mother always could pinpoint where I was at. Somebody somewhere, because I have on my mother's side I have four aunts, three uncles, and then on my father's side I had um three uncles, two aunts, and we didn't live very close to either one of them. But somebody always knew somebody somewhere somehow. Oh, that's so and so's niece, or that's so and so's cousin, and trickle down and get right back to where if I was somewhere I didn't have no business being, trust and believe me, they knew I was where I was at.
I had too much freedom. I had too much. When I got in middle school, like junior high school, I started being over my friend's house. So long as she had a phone number, and I say I'm at Monique house, or I'm at LaShawn house. I say I'm there, and I hang up the phone, and I'm gone.
Well, let's reel it back a little bit, ladies. I just want to say to you, sis, like you don't you don't see your story as unique, and I get it because so many people have been through similar trauma. But I'm going to keep reminding you, is your story is what makes you you, right? So I want to get into a little bit into your business and what made you say, you know what, I can't work a job. I need to be a business owner.
So when I told you I went to prison, right?
Mm-hmm.
I came home a convicted felon. That's another thing that needs to be talked about to the youth while they're in their primitive stages. Because had somebody told me, when you go to jail, I ain't gonna say when you go to jail because everybody don't go to jail, but just for the people that never been in jail, if I could talk to them, let's say when they like in 8th grade or 9th grade or something, and I would say to them, yeah, you can get arrested for something, you can bond out, but once you go get convicted, it's a stigma on you. Um, I didn't know anything about being a felon. Hold on, my son about that. Hold on. Don't leave me. Don't leave me. Come say hi. Say hi to them people in here. It's my baby boy. He's about to leave.
Hi.
When you coming back? My birthday? Huh? Or before my birthday? You not coming back Christmas Eve, Christmas, nothing? You gonna get my ride stuff on my birthday? Or you taking it now? So Donna, you didn't wrap it? Anyway. No, take it. I mean, it's not like she knows she's 6 months. Um, what I was saying. Okay. So I used to get jobs. And I went to college, graduated. I went to a couple of schools. Um, but no matter what my credentials were, once they asked my background, look, so in the early 2000s, I was getting good jobs. And I came home in 96. And then I still was getting in trouble because I'm a daredevil. So I had got like, I'm real good. I'm real good with numbers. I got like a photogenic memory. So I used to get jobs, and I'm still struggling. Uh, my story just keeps getting unique. So my oldest son, his father got murdered when he was 2. When I told you in the AZ video, he got murdered in Baltimore. He was from Southside Jamaica, Queens. So I didn't. I had my son was the only child for 6 years, and then I met my kid's dad, and I have 3 kids for him. But it's the way I had my kids. I had 3 kids in 11 months. 3 kids in 11 months. It's crazy. So my son Christian was born December 10th, 2001. My twins, the one who just got in the camera just now, who you saw, Dana, and my daughter Dinah. Dinah, come here. Just come say hi right quick. So Dinah and Dana are twins, and they were born November 22nd, 2002. It's my only daughter.
Hi, Dinah. How you doing?
Hi.
Good.
Good. How are y'all?
So my oldest son's birthday is November 22nd, 1995. So I got 3 kids. I had 3 kids in 11 months, and I also have 3 kids with the same birthday.
Oh wow.
So I was struggling. Like I'm still struggling. I'm just the type that's gonna keep reinventing myself. I'm the queen of figuring it out. Like I'm gonna make me some money. Know that. So I just was struggling. I got in trouble for credit card fraud. I used to remember people's credit card numbers. I used to do, and I didn't do anything like it was. Trust me, it was still wrong. It was immoral to do that because I would be crazy if somebody did that to me. You know what I'm saying? But I paid my bills with the shit. Like, I didn't go on no shopping spree. My dumb ass paid my light bill. I paid my water bill, my sewer bill. But just my luck. One time I ended up remembering the credit card number for a corporate accountant. So you know how meticulous a corporate accountant is with their ledger and their bills. I promise you, I remember that particular credit time I did that. I only took $41.42 from that lady, and she still prosecuted me. So it's just, it's funny to think about it, but I just kept getting in trouble. So even though I was a felon from drugs trafficking, then I became a felon with the credit card thing. So my background just, I just kept messing it up. I kept messing it up. So I got tired of getting fired. I got tired of sometimes having to quit jobs because of the dynamics of my family. Now I got 4 kids in school. If somebody gets sick, it's almost like a domino effect. The next one gonna be sick, the next one gonna be sick, the next one gonna be sick, and now what?
And then you get sick. You get sicker than them.
I'm the type I work sick, but it's just the fact that you can't keep the job is not going to keep allowing you to miss work, and it just became a repetitive thing, So thank God I had Section 8. I raised my kids in a 4-bedroom, 2-bath house. By the grace of God, I wasn't even supposed to get Section 8, but I got it. I wasn't supposed to get financial aid. A lot of things I wasn't supposed to get, but I got it. And I just decided that I was going to just in 2015. I started making organic lip gloss in my kitchen, and my daughter, you just saw, was my partner in my business. I named it after her, so it's Dynasty Lip Whips, and her name is Dynah, and it's a hyphen STY Lip Whips. And Dynasty came from when I used to rap. I was with a group of guys, and we called ourselves the Dynasty. So that kind of resonated with me. My daughter's name kind of morphed into that word Dynasty, so it made sense. And she perfected the color wheel. She taught me the color wheel, and that's how we came up. You can look up Dynasty Lip Whips on Instagram and Facebook. DYNAH-STY Lip Whips. You can see some of our work from the beginning. So we did that. It's mostly me, I stay up to me 4 o'clock in the morning making calls. So I did that until 2015 to I would say 2019, and then I ran into some. I ain't gonna say I ran into. I had some. I can't even call these. I can't even. I refuse to say they was my friends. There was some females that I was associated with for 23 years that I thought were my sisters, and we had a disagreement about something that they caused, and I'm a fact checker. So when you come to me with something, you got to come to me with facts. And it didn't work out in their favor. That they didn't come to me with facts, and because of the seriousness of the situation and the parties involved, um, one of them was my daughter. You know, um, I'm siding with my daughter, and they just couldn't come to me with the correct information, and I kept calling them. Um, I mean, long story short, I can talk about it now. We passed it. So remember when I told y'all I never let nobody stay at my house?
Right.
Y'all can hear me.
Mm-hmm.
So because these fake people were my so-called sisters, I would let one of their it was her grandson stay over my house, and initially he came over my house to befriend my boys. And around this time they're 13 years old. They're my daughter, and they're just the same 13 years old. And him being around my sons, him and my daughter ended up liking each other. It's 13 years old, it's puppy love. But nothing like intimate ever happened with them because I never left them alone. You see, never. He spent the night a couple of times, and he was the only kid I would let spend the night in my house because of who he was, you know. And they came up with some allegation that something happened between him and my daughter, between some text messages that they seen. Mind you, these people are remedial. I'm gonna say remedial for the lack of better word. These are remedial people that we dealing with. And whatever they thought they saw in those messages were taken out of proportion. Nothing happened. They called and made it seem like it was something, but they didn't. So now I'm like, okay, how do you arrive at you think that this happened between my daughter and your grandson? You got to tell me. You got to give me more. You can't just say this happened. You got to tell me, like, did you see them say something like, "Oh, I can't wait till we do it again," or "It felt good, it hurt." Like, you got to tell me more. You get what I'm saying? I wasn't able to be given that information, so I kept reaching for it, and then they in turn contacted the local authorities and said that I was harassing them. So we went to court. They lost. I represented myself pro se. The judge saw through all the foolishness. They lost, and then the the older one attempted to go to Facebook and have street justice and make a post about my kids, my mom, all kinds of just foolishness, like just stuff that didn't have anything to do with the situation at hand. Um, so that's how Dynasty Lit Whip. That's how I ended up dissolving Dynasty Lit Whip because she went on to say that my kitchen was unsanitary, which was a lie. I'm OCD. I'm clean. I'm a very clean person, but she thwarted my sales locally so bad. Like I was really making a lot of money,
Wow.
but when she made that post that my kitchen is unsanitary, I blow my nose. I still have the screenshots of the status. I blow my nose a lot. I have sinus, but I use gloves when I make my products. You understand what I'm saying? But that happened. Um, so I dissolved it. And I dissolved it not solely because she did that, but when I filed my taxes, my revenue had plummeted drastically. And then moving forward, I wanted my customers to feel safe with my products. So I rebranded and I came back with Fresh Paint Beauty. And then so the packaging would be respected. I outsourced to another company to duplicate my formula. So there were nobody could say anything about the packaging because now it's coming packaged with universally accepted packaging, comparable to the one when you go in the store. So that's how Fresh Paint Beauty came along. Some haters,
I um
yeah.
I
But
just
now
want
I
to say
Australia, Canada, all over the world. Oh, yeah.
that's right. I understand. Listen, I just want to say to you, sis. Thank you for coming up here and showing, and sharing your story with us. Um, we have a
Thank
sister in
you for having
the we have a sister in the comments. She wanted to ask a question. She said,
I can't see it, so
do
you got
you
to tell me.
right? She said, do you feel like you're healed or still healing from the trauma? And thanks for sharing your story.
I'm still healing. I don't think I'll ever be healed until I transition. I can never. I'm forever healing. I'll never be healed.
Okay, that's
And
understandable.
that's interesting.
I know I'll never be healed because I still struggle with failed relationships. I feel like I should have been married. I feel like even though I was supposed to marry the father of my kids, my last the younger three, we had a marriage license. I called it off. I tore it up. I mean, I got proposed to before, but it's just I feel like the way that I wanted my life to be, I'm such a helpless romantic. I'm such a lover. Like I would have been with the one person I fell in love with from the first time forever. That's the type of person I am. But men are men, they do what they do. And then you think about it, like that's why I talk to my sons. I'd be like, you know, I was such a fool to think that anybody would be faithful at 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Like 22, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever. Like most of these men, even today, I'll be 50 next Friday. And there are still 50-year-old men that I know that still don't want to be with nobody. I don't know what's going on. But I just wanted to be with one man. You know, um, I never got to choose who I wanted to give my virginity to. So because of the type of person I am, that's a trauma that I'll never be able to get over because I never felt pure when technically the person who was my first to me wasn't really my first. My cousin was my first.
Okay, I
You get what I'm
understand
saying?
it.
Yeah,
But I
absolutely.
do you like? So you say that you'll never be
I'll
healed,
never
right?
be. I'll never be completely healed. People
Um,
say that they're healed, I don't believe it. But go ahead.
I have this saying, right? And I didn't come up with it, but I have this saying that holding on to things is like drinking poison and expecting other people to die from it, right?
I remember you
And
said that, and I like that. But yeah, I
I
love that.
think that you got to do the work, sis. Got to do the work.
I
Like
like. That's why I said I'm not healed. I don't know what I have to do, but I know I'm not healed. Like I know that.
it's a lot of inner work, right? It's a lot of forgiving yourself, right? Because although we
I
say
can't. I
we
don't gotta
blame,
forget.
no, 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 no. Well,
I
listen,
ain't doing.
listen to what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you did anything. When I'm saying, when I say you gotta forgive yourself, I'm saying you gotta forgive yourself for not being able to heal. Right? That's when the healing starts. Not forgive yourself for what happened to you. You had no control over that. None of that is your fault. You didn't do anything. But when you say to yourself, you know what, enough is enough. This is affecting my life. I'm not able to have successful relationships. I'm not able to trust. I'm not able to do certain things because of what happened to me. You at some point have to say, I gotta let it go. And letting it go
My
doesn't mean you
relationship.
forget about it because you can't forget about you. You'll never forget about it, right? But letting it go is being able to seek peace because you want it.
And
When
you
I
may
say my
need to speak to
relationships weren't,
someone with it. I'm sorry.
I've done that already. I went to counseling. I went to therapy and all that. And the therapist, of course, she was. I'll just say she was somebody that wasn't of my ethnicity. She basically told
So
me, "Well, because you're not ashamed of what happened to you, so she didn't feel like I needed more sessions because I just was candid about why should I be ashamed about what happened to me." She's like, "Well, she's like, you're very honest about what happened to you." I guess she really didn't know what to do with me after that. I mean, because I think most of her sessions probably are with people who have guilt. I don't have guilt about what happened to me. I didn't do nothing to me. But when I say my relationships haven't been successful, it don't have anything to do with what happened to me. I just pick bad men.
that might be a
Yeah,
symptom,
I just pick.
and you
I've
don't
been good to
realize
every.
it.
I've been good to every man. I've been good to every man I've been with, and when they didn't even deserve it. I
But
have
that may
a
be a
big
symptom,
heart.
and you don't. Yeah, but that may be a symptom that you don't even realize of it. And let me just tell you something else. It's about therapy, right? When you seek out a therapist and you go and you speak to that therapist, sometimes it may take one session, sometimes it may take three sessions, sometimes it may get to the five sessions, six sessions. When you're discussing what your issues are and what was going on with you, if you get to a therapist that disregards you, your experiences, and how it's affecting you, then you switch therapists. You find another therapist. You you know because each therapist, every therapist has their own, excuse me, their own shit because they're human too. The fact that she told you because you weren't sorry about what happened to you, that wasn't your
No, she
therapist.
didn't say I was. No, she didn't say because I wasn't sorry. She said you're not ashamed of what happened to you. I feel like
Right.
I can't remember what she said verbatim, but she basically was pleased with the fact that I wasn't on a guilt trip. I didn't come in there sad. I'm just me. So and sometimes these people don't really know how to deal with you, and
No.
for me, it's going to take. It'll probably, in my honest opinion, to be completely honest with y'all, like if I'm going to get to the end road, the end of this thing with somebody, it would have to be a black man. I just feel like that.
And you know why? Because it was a black man that did it to you, and maybe you're looking for an explanation or a reason or something from them, but that's fine. So search out a black male therapist. They are out there, and they may help you more than you can
I don't.
imagine. Even a
Yeah,
black
I don't
woman
think
therapist
that's
may
me
be able
though.
to help because you may be able to identify with them a little bit more. Um,
What do
so
you
they
What do
may
you
be
think?
able to help
What
you.
do you think needs that? What do you think that I'm lacking? What do you think is going to happen? I'll be 50 next Friday on the 26th. I'll be 50. What do you think
I
is
think
going to change in my life if I was able to find a therapist who who feels that they are deemed qualified to heal me? What's supposed to happen after that?
they're not going to heal you. That's the thing. They're
That's the
not
thing.
supposed to heal you. What they're supposed to do is to help you to heal.
Give you
They're
the
not going to
tools.
heal you. They're going to give you the tools to work toward you learning how to heal you, right?
A
And
therapist
learning how to
doesn't.
be the whole you. They can't hear you. They can't wave a magic wand. They can't sit there and talk at you. They're supposed to help you. to get to the point where you can not necessarily move on, but to recognize who you are, right? And to
Mm.
help you heal yourself. Because you said yourself, you don't think you'll ever be healed from this, not until you lay down and you're long gone.
Because,
But just
because
living in
I
that
can't, when I say
is
that,
not healthy.
no, for me, when I say that, I can't reset my life. So to me, I'll never be healed because I can't start my life over. If I could start my life over and have a clean slate and none of this shit happened to me, I probably would be a whole different person.
But then you
So
wouldn't
when
be
I
the
say
person
that's what
that
I
you are.
mean, like
You
Mm.
wouldn't be the person that you are. You wouldn't have had your experiences. Let me tell you something, right? The thing that you said to Sister Light that you don't think that your story is all that special. Your story
because I talk to women
is
that if you
have
go look
gone
on
through it.
YouTube right now,
Absolutely.
there's some women that
No,
they
absolutely.
done been through
But
some shit.
sis,
Yeah.
the thing you
So
got to remember is your experience, though, is your experience, right? You are a survivor. You survived what happened to you. You
yes, I
survived
did.
it.
Resilient. You're
Right.
resilient. You're
Yeah, a lot.
brilliant.
Your
You're
resilience
so
in and of
many things.
itself is amazing to see. That was one of the reasons why we wanted you on this panel. After hearing
Hmm.
some of the things that you said, right? So the thing is to continue that so that you recognize that within you. Because like I said, you're like, oh no, it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, it really is. Because there's not many people that would have been able to survive that the way you did.
Some people end up on drugs and just all life don't care. Like some people end their lives for stuff like this, and here you are standing today.
Well, I
Exactly.
did attempt.
Resilient,
I did
beautiful.
attempt suicide. I attempted suicide at 7 months with my oldest son. I attempted suicide at 7 months pregnant with my oldest son. I attempted suicide, and I took I took like 28 Dramamine, and like
Hmm.
I went in my grandma's cabinet, and I took 28 Dramamine. I remember, and like 7 Tylenol, and I drank some sweet tea, and that's because I had a my kid's dad, my oldest son's dad, the one who got murdered. I had no
Hmm.
business dealing with him. Um, I met him hustling. When I met him, he had 3 girls pregnant at the same time. 3 girls pregnant at the same time, and that was just stupid to deal with him, knowing
It
that
wasn't.
in
You,
advance.
how old were you?
So
How old were you, sis?
that
How
particular
old?
night, 18, and he was 16, but he was 6'4", and he was very mature. I didn't. He lied to me. Told me he was 19, and I believed him. He was 6'4". He was very smart. So I didn't know that. I didn't find out until months later that he was 16. Like he had just turned 17 or something. When I called, when I was calling up this New York, like his grandmother was like, I forgot how we had this conversation, but I remember her telling me like Juanel is only he just turned 17, and I just couldn't believe it. So I felt like I was duped. But
Do you
I
hear the? Do you hear the
he was
operative
he,
word?
he
Do
was
you hear the operative word in your age?
what,
Teen. You were
Teen.
still a child.
18?
Yeah,
Teen.
Yeah, teen.
teen.
I had
Not
my
the
son at
whole
19.
age,
Yeah,
Not the
I
just
whole
the
had my
age.
teen. Not the
Teen.
whole age, just the
You
teen
were
part.
still a baby. You were still a
yeah,
child yourself. So you weren't stupid. You were
yeah.
learning life. You may not have made the
Hmm.
best decisions, but you were still a child.
And you have to, can I just say something too when I was telling you about the
Yeah. By the
therapeutic
time
part
I
of
met him,
this? The therapy learns how to let you give yourself a break. It teaches you
mm,
how to learn how to forgive yourself. When Sister Light was saying about forgiving yourself, she was not necessarily talking about she wasn't talking about those things that occurred with you, right? She was talking about things that happened after that. Not the sexual, not the molestation, none of that, but the things that happen after that. Because you just beat up on yourself, and I don't even think you realize you beat up on yourself when you just made the statement you made about the
What?
fact that you shouldn't have messed with him. It was stupid of you to mess with him. You
That's
were
fine.
learning. No, but
Yeah.
you were learning. You were
Um,
learning. You were a child. And
he was
you
very
have to learn how to give yourself grace for that because you were learning. We all have a learning curve. We all learn. Sometimes we can learn from watching others, and sometimes we have to go through it to learn. But you got to learn how
yeah,
to give yourself a break too.
yeah. I just so I was just alluding to I attempted suicide. So I remember waking up. We was having a conversation and he kept putting me on hold. I'm pregnant now, and he kept putting me on hold for his one of his other baby mamas. And I just felt so low. Like I wanted his attention so bad. And it was a back and forth, hanging up, calling back, hanging up, calling back, hanging up. And I just felt like, and I told him I was going to do it. I told him I was like, I'm about to kill myself. And I really said that thinking he would care, and he didn't. And I don't know what made me. I just followed through with it, and I thought I wasn't going to be here anymore to deal. It's like it's an unsettling pain to be rejected by somebody you think you love. Like it was just a pain that I just wanted to end. And all I could think about was to take these pills and just die. And that's what I thought was going to happen, and that didn't happen. I ended up waking up, and I passed. I remember waking. I was in my grandmother's bed, and I remember my mother. She would always come downstairs because there's a 3-story house. She would always come downstairs. She stayed on the 3rd floor, and she would always come downstairs in the morning. And I just remember getting out of bed. I don't know what I looked like to her. All I remember her saying is, "What's wrong with you?" And when I woke up, I was in the hospital. And I remember them making me drink this black pulpy oil. And yeah, I didn't know anything about it at that time. They made me drink it, and it was pulpy, like it was like orange juice, but it was pulpy, like it was disgusting. But they told me if I didn't drink it, they was gonna have to pump my stomach, and I was very scared of my stomach being pumped. I don't know why. I had a healthy fear. Once I heard pump, I was like, let me drink this stuff. So that's how I recovered from that situation.
But you're here
Um,
to tell your story, sis, and that's important. It wasn't your time to go. So you have to,
yeah,
that's
but
why we keep saying you will be very resilient and a survivor.
You
yeah,
did that. Like you. I look at you, sis. I talked to you for in depth for a while, right? That day in the chat. I have
mhm.
you here. We've been communicating off and on for the last 2 days. You are a testimony of survival. You are a testimony. Matter of fact, survival is just not even a good word for you.
Hmm.
A survivor is not even a good word for you. You did it. You did it. You've been through all of these trials and tribulations, all of this trauma, and you are here today to tell your story. You are a soldier. You are here to tell your story. Do you know that this story may help? I don't know how many people. Nothing minor about you. Nothing not unique about you. Nothing. Sis, you did that. You did that. And you got to give yourself grace. And you got to say, I was learning life. When all of these things occurred to you after the first two traumatic experiences of your life, everything else was a learning experience. And this is why you are here today to tell a story. It was for a reason. Everything.
And your story's going to resonate with someone. It may not be right here, right now. You may not even realize it. You may not even know it, but it will. It's going to show someone, listen, this is what I survived. If I can survive this, you can survive this. Absolutely, you can do this.
You are like, you don't understand, sis. You don't even understand the power that you have, the power that you possess, the power in your story.
Hmm.
You are a diva, honey. And don't ever forget it. Marlon wanted to come up. I don't know. It's going on 2 hours and 10 minutes, and we would like to keep in contact with you, sis. I don't know why you left our group. We would like to keep in contact with you so we can talk, right?
Marlon
So
wanted to come up and say what?
I don't know what
Come
Marlon
and
wanted.
give us a come. Oh, I thought you was asking what you call it. I was gonna say, come up and give us some updates on what's going on with you and your business. We love all of that stuff.
Right.
Um, I gave you my website. My website, my business is still, up and running, thriving. I have another business that I started that is more lucrative. I have my own logistics business with me and my oldest son. It's Starr Quality Logistics. It's spelled like STARR. So I'm a medical courier,
Look
and
at all this beautifulness though coming out of you, sis.
I just bought my
Beauty.
son, my oldest son, because he had launched on me. My oldest son just bought me my first cargo van Thursday. So I just I applied for like 8 different contracts already. I think my phone and my email gonna be going off tomorrow because I applied for them just on Friday. Matter of fact, was it probably yesterday? So I was using my personal truck um, for the past 3 years up until Thursday. So now I got my first cargo van, and I'm so excited because that's where the big money is at. And this medical courier thing is lucrative. I love it. It's easy work. It's easy money. I wish I had known about it 30 years ago. I would be a multi-millionaire right now. So, this is my first cargo van. Within 6 months, I plan to have another one, get a driver, and just continue to grow my business. I want to have a fleet, but there's not a contract that I applied for that I haven't gotten, So I love this industry. I don't like working traditionally with people. Um, just my experiences, um, I have a lot of reasons why.
You do
I feel
work
like
with
I control.
people. People are walking around with your lipstick and your whatever products on their
Yeah,
face every
I
day.
mean, like traditionally working in an 8 hour setting,
I know.
people begin to pick, bother you, and I feel like once you start to, make thrives in your life, like let's just say you went and bought a house or something or a car, now all of a sudden things just become, too much. People just put on, they want to either break you, they want you to quit, they do things that get you fired, or, you might have a micromanaging supervisor. It's just a lot of things. So I feel like I control my financial forecast
You do.
with
And, and
the industries that I'm in. So
and you're gonna keep doing it. And that's the beauty of
yeah.
you. That's the beauty, and that's part of your. That's also part of your story.
Yeah, people don't care about nothing you got going on. They want you to get this stuff from point A to point B. As long as you do that, there's no feelings in business, and that's another reason why I love being in the realm of business. You know, me of all people always wear my heart on my sleeve, and I'm really extremely emotional. But in business, people don't care about nothing but the end goal, and I love it like that because I'm gonna make sure I get the job done. So,
Right.
well, what Marlon want to say? Because
Marlon,
this man
Marlon,
and his phone.
Yo.
All right,
This
there you
man and his
What's good?
So I want to say to you, Marlon, thank you, thank you, thank you for introducing us to this brilliant, vibrant young lady.
go.
No doubt. I've been telling her to get back here. No
I
doubt. Tell her to get back here.
I really, really, really appreciate her coming up here. Thank you, brother, because without knowing you, we wouldn't know her.
No
And
Absolutely.
problems.
I really,
I'm
really
always trying to help
appreciate
people that
that.
makes it.
Thank you for helping us get her story out there. And sis, thank you for giving us your story. We appreciate hearing about the things that you've gone through. And like I said, hopefully we can take this and use it for someone else that really needs it. They may be struggling. And this may be the thing that helps them out or puts them over to the point where they needed to be to make some things happen. You're a great
yeah.
woman and you're a wonderful person.
Thank you. I want to
You're
say to
welcome.
anybody that watches this, come across this, is a new mom, or because I went through postpartum, and I just want to say that you don't really know you're in postpartum until you come out of it. I
Mm.
had it bad when I had three, like I said, I had three kids in 11 months. I was insane, and I didn't have help from their dad like I was supposed to. Um, and I had so many back. And when I first had my kids back then, it was a group of women. It was called Charleston Area Mom of Multiples, and those women, I'm telling you, none of the women in there were black that helped me. None of them were black. So
Yeah, postpartum is
they
heavy.
really they helped me get through. Like I remember, I always remember Pam and Ted Kussmeyer and Janine Sorensen. But Pam and Ted, they were so amazing, and they would come to my house and sit with me. More so Pam, because Ted worked a lot. He was like UPS, but she gave me her phone number, and I used to call that lady 1, 2, 3 in the morning, and she would answer that phone. And one thing that she shared with me that I didn't know, as a, I already had my son, but having kids the way I had, Christian didn't got like that in a cluster. Um, I to death.
Yeah, postpartum is heavy. I went through it.
And I used to be scared to let my daughter just cry.
Right.
She was like, "You could just close the door, close, and let her cry." And I thought that would be mean, but I had to do it sometime because she would just cry, cry, and cry to the point that she was disturbing my son, her twin brother. And I was just like, this is not fair to him. But yeah, go ahead, like this. I just want the women to watch this, that if you keep, look at my kids now, 30, 24, and 23. I'm a grandma of three. So I just want, just stay down, stay the course, because my kids do not play about me.
Hmm.
Mhm.
They
I already
do
know. I know
not
that.
play about me. It ain't
How
nothing.
that.
It's nothing I need or want.
Okay, well, I think we're gonna wrap this up. I want to thank everybody for coming out, sister. I want to thank you for coming and sharing your story and being
But
very
yeah,
candid.
postpartum, like you said, postpartum is heavy. Like
I think
It was so nice to meet you.
we're having a lag. Sister Ivory,
Yes.
thank
you
you,
wanna
Thank
thank you.
thank you. And if any of you give y'all a discount, y'all can use. Oh, I'm gonna talk in the chat. I'm gonna put it in the chat.
Okay,
All right.
Sister
Once
Ivory, you
again,
want to take us out?
yes,
It's
ma'am. Go
got
yes.
ahead,
a
Sister Ivory.
Thank
discount whenever y'all
everyone
want.
for
It never
tuning in.
expires.
Thank everyone for
20%
tuning
off.
into another informative video here on Paradigm Shift TV 314. We are out.
Mhm.
Peace.
I don't got no friends. I don't got no friends. You know what I mean? I got supporters, people on my side and people on the other side.
Welcome to the shift where the whole room blows. DMG vibes got the city on go. Stand on what you know, every mind gon' grow. This you black, I'm with you, let the whole world know. Paradigm like, yo, shine just right. Respect your view even if we don't align right. We can disagree and still keep the love tight. DMG family, we elevate the mind right. This that channel that be talking back, energy attack. Iron sharpens iron, watch the whole league react. Competition in the building, better tighten up your facts. We ain't clones, but we still mirror how you crack under impact. Every debate will work hot, spot a weak, rep fast. You live wrong, paradigm shift and break your stance. I'm the judge, the jury, the pen, the contrast. My bars hit always like a quadruple. Buying title shift, where the whole room glow. MG vibes got the city on go. Stand on what you know, every mind gon' grow. If you black, I'm with you, let the whole world know. Paradigm light, yeah, we shine just right. Respect your view, even if we don't all align right. We can disagree and still keep the love tight. DMG family, we elevate the mind right. We invite every mind, long as you stand on yours. Walking with respect, leave with open doors. Channel stay lit, views jumping off the boards. STL bounce, yeah, the spy from the source. Competitors, welcome, step up, don't fold. We don't fit pressure, we refine under load. Thoughts heavy, we press them till the truth get told. Shift so clean, it feel platinum even when it's gold. Come through correct, bring your logic and your proof. Speak your truth, just don't run from the truth. We debate with grace, that's the paradigm groove. Flow so smooth, even turbulence move. Welcome to the shift where the whole room go. DMG vibes got the city on go. Stand on what you know, every mind gon' grow. If you black, I'm with you, let the whole world know. Paradigm light, yeah, we shine just right. Respect your view, even if we don't align right. We can disagree and still keep the love tight. DMG family, we elevate the mind right. Where the whole glow. DMG vibes got the city on low. Stand on what you know, every mind gon' know. If you black, I'm with you, let the whole world know. Paradigm light, yeah, we shine just right. Respect your view, even if we don't align right. We can disagree and still keep the love tight. DMG family, we elevate the mind right. Welcome to the shift. DMG vibes got the city on go. Welcome to the shift. Stand on what you know, every mind gon' grow. Welcome to the shift. If you black, I'm with you, if you black, I'm with you. Welcome to the shift. We can disagree and still keep the love tight. Welcome to the shift. DMG family, we elevate the mind right. Welcome to the shift. DMG vibe, got the city on low. With paradigm shift, keep it real forward.
Y'all know I say that greeting for one reason, one reason only. It's because if you black, I'm with you. And I hope that you with me.